People always be asking me, why aren't you on social media? The purpose of this video isn't to convince you to get rid of Facebook. Like, I don't care what you do. These are just my reasons, my personal reasons. Are there any other reasons besides personal ones? I got on Facebook my freshman year of college and was on it for a few months before I was like overwhelmed with it and I had to delete it. I couldn't stand seeing everyone's life, you know, their highlight reel on social media. I was like looking too much into other people's lives and it was making me feel really bad. So I got rid of Facebook. Then a couple years ago, I got on Twitter and was on that for just a couple months. You kind of feel like sick after you're on Twitter for a while. You're just like, this is the stupidest place ever. I hate this place. I hate the world. Instagram, I've never really been on. The most I've been on it was stalking this girl I dated for a couple weeks who crushed me when she ghosted me. But I kept tabs on her in a creepy way. So anyway, what are my actual reasons for not being on social media? Why aren't I? Why don't I just sign up now? What are the reasons? The first big reason that I'm not on social media is because it's just such a time waste. It's a huge time suck for me. Now, I'm sure lots of you probably know how to use social media in a moderated way that is reasonable. Not me. If I were to get back on social media, I would waste hours a day on it. I already experienced it with YouTube. I don't consider YouTube to be social media because it's a totally different dynamic. Facebook, it's like we're friends, we're keeping in touch, our real life on the internet. YouTube is like I'm creating videos and putting it out there for an audience. It's an actor-audience relationship. It's not a friends in real life relationship. You understand what I mean? Why was this But I experienced this on YouTube already where I waste so much time on YouTube. And I mean, I can justify it because my channel is doing okay. I know that this is what I would do if I was on Facebook or Twitter, and it's like you get these little dopamine hits when people, like when I see the views, when I look at the view counts and I read the comments on my videos, I'll admit, like it's kind of an ego boost. It's a dopamine hit, and it's like addictive. I keep coming back to look at and see what else have people said. And it's the same with Facebook that, I'd keep checking, what did people like my post? What did people comment on my photo? The big difference is these videos are a controlled kind of creation. This isn't like my pure real life I'm showing you. Whereas if it's Facebook or whatever, it's sort of like my real life. And so I feel like it would be like much more hurtful and much more addictive, like the two extremes, if I had a Facebook or Twitter and people were reacting to like the real things in my life. Whereas on YouTube, I can sort of distance myself from it and be like, okay, what do people think about my creations? It's not really about me, except when people comment how good looking I am. So yeah, I'd waste a ton of time and I would become addicted to it. I'm not really good at moderating anything. So it's basically either be a total addict or get off of it. So that's one of the big reasons why. Related to that, secondarily, and as I mentioned before, I just felt like crap whenever I was on social media, comparing myself to other people's lives. And that's what it is basically, is most people go on social media, especially Facebook, and present themselves, it's their highlight reel. Their life is great, man. Look at all the places I've traveled. Look at my new job. Look at the fun thing I did last weekend. Look at my significant other. Look at my dog. Look at my children. Not everyone does this, and not everyone does it intentionally, but it happens a lot. I hate that. I don't want to be a part of it. I have such a low opinion of myself that if I see other people be putting on this front of being well-adjusted and competent human beings and contributing members of society, it's going to make me feel even worse, if that's possible. Even if people are genuinely nice, I don't want to see it. I suppose a legitimate reason for using Facebook is to keep in touch with family and friends that you've moved away from or something like that, or that you just don't get to see very often. Okay, yeah. The thing with showing photos, though, is before Facebook, before computers, if you wanted to show someone photos, you had to sit down with them and show them the photos. And you're giving them context with what you're showing them. So it's like an active thing. It's interactive. You're talking to the other person. It's a bonding experience. With Facebook, though, it's this totally passive thing where you put up your pictures and people can look at them. Whether, you can ask people, hey, Uncle Joe, look at my pictures because I went to China. But for the most part, it's sort of just like you post it up there and hope that your 800 Facebook friends will passively find their way to it and then comment on it. And it's just all these pictures with very little context. Sure, you can write a caption, but there's no bonding. I just got to see a few instants of your life and got to see all the cool stuff you did and oh, how happy you are. Great. There's like the really human element that's missing. And I also think it's weird that it's so passive. And, so many people have friends on Facebook who are people that that aren't really even in their life. Why do I need to see what some person I knew in high school is doing now? Why do I need to see the photos of someone I met at a party and we, had a good conversation, we friended each other? Why do I now need to look through their album of their cousin's bar mitzvah? Now, you can say, yeah, Frank, you don't have to look through it. Yeah, right. But I also just think it's weird. Why would you want them to look through your stuff? Why would you want to make it available for them to have a window into your life? Maybe that's just me. I don't like people having windows into my lives. Except the 13,000 of you subscribe to this channel. That brings me to my next point is I don't like being available. I don't like being connected. I like my life to be very separate from everyone else and for me to have like control over when I interact with other people. And the thing about social media is that you're constantly connected with other people. Even if you're not actively connected, when you've friended someone and now they have this constant window into your life and they can look back on your whole life, your pictures from 2012 when you were dating that guy you haven't talked to in years. Now I can go and look at that because you haven't taken it down for some reason. Why would you keep it up? I don't know. And the thing is, so many people, you see people with all these Facebook friends. It seems like most people that I know, when I've looked at their profiles, they have like between 800 and 1,000 friends. Sure, you can have that many acquaintances or whatever, and I understand, like, maybe you meet someone who could become a good business contact later and whatever, but this has taken so much of the work out of being sociable that it's like really cheapening all relationships. If we didn't have Facebook and I wanted to possibly get in contact with you in the future, I would have to make the effort to like write down your phone number or get your email address or something. Now it's just like, oh, I'll friend you and I'll keep you on reserve if I ever need to get in contact with you. Meanwhile, you can look at all the pictures of my Cinco de Mayo party. I don't want to be closely connected with a bunch of acquaintances like that. The way the world is supposed to work is you pass in and out of other people's lives. And if you want to stay in someone else's life, you make the effort. But now we have this thing where you're never really fully passed out of someone's life. But that's the thing, is like there's this natural thing of, okay, well, we went to high school together. Now we have no reason to come in contact anymore. That's gone. A lot of my friends from high school are still friends on Facebook, even though they never talk. Why? What's the point? And then that makes it that much more special when you run into each other in person because you're not, you haven't thought of them. They're not on your friend list. Now, I know not all your... Even if you have 1,000 friends, that doesn't mean you're checking all their profiles, but you know what I'm saying. What really bugs me about not being on social media, though, is that so many people, they don't think about you when you're not on it. I can't count how many times there's been like an event or a party or something where they're like, oh, well, you're invited, but you're not on Facebook, so that's why you didn't get the invitation. It's like, well, no, I wasn't invited. If you didn't reach out to me, then I wasn't invited. Sure, maybe you thought about it, but if you didn't take that next step of calling me or something, then I wasn't invited. And, oh, you weren't on Facebook is kind of That's that's such a dumb excuse. Yeah, I'm not on Facebook, but I still have a phone number, an email address, and I exist in the real world. You could have told me any of those ways. One of the big things that came up a couple years ago during the presidential election, and I'm so glad I wasn't on social media then, is people decide that, okay, I'm gonna spout my political opinions. It's like, I don't care. People who in real life never expressed any political opinion will suddenly like stand on a soapbox and start to wax poetical about their beliefs and how, the injustices of the world and what we've got to do and how could you vote for this person. It kind of makes you not like your friend who in real life never would have said these things, but with a keyboard and the platform of their wall. And it doesn't matter if your political opinion agrees or disagrees with me. I just find it like not tasteful to get on a soapbox and say to your friends, this is what I think and it's wrong. You're wrong if you don't think what I think. A lot of people during that election were like, you're immoral if you don't believe what I believe, which is like, dude, come on. You don't know anything. Really? Like, I don't know anything either, which is why I'm not posting about it. It's what you might call virtue signaling. There's a lot of virtue signaling on social media. A lot of humble brags, too, where it's like, just coming back from my day of volunteering and my model photo shoot. Let me know what you think in the comments. Are you on social media? Do you find some value in it? What do you think about my reasons for not being on it? I mean, honestly, I don't see the value in it. But I'm not here to tell you to get off of it. I don't care. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked it, give me a thumbs up. If this video gets 2,500 likes, something will happen. If you haven't subscribed already, hit the subscribe button at least a few times for good luck. Until next time, stay cool and attractive.